What? Oh, hello. Look, it's the Trios champions. The CWA Trios champions are back in action. Maybe we'll get belts one day.
I don't know what belt I need is to hold up my pants.
I was gonna say, I believe my stated position on grown men carrying belts around is well documented.
Okay.
What
Yes,
they look
yes.
like chodes?
That they look like overgrown children, which is what they are.
I mean, aren't we overgrown children for doing this?
Well, I mean, I've long said that
Maybe.
that's all adults really are is overgrown children, but so.
Welcome, everybody. It's another grand Sunday. And we lost an hour of sleep. Oh, damn. But you know what? That
But
sun
I
will be,
still look handsome.
yeah, yes, you do. That sun will be shining a lot longer in the evening. And that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I like. Give me that sunshine at 9:30 at night.
Still ain't no sun here. It's been overcast for since like last weekend, I want to say. I don't remember last time I actually
It's
saw the sun.
it's overcast down here south today. We're supposed to be, I think, and almost hit 80 again today or close to 80, but it's gonna be cloudy and some
The
rain.
sun, the sun, the sun is supposed to come out later because yeah, we're getting like a warming trend for like the next few days. Like today, I think it said it's going to be in the 60s, um, and then like the next 3 days, it's going to be in the 70s. Which for what is still winter in Pennsylvania is like, yeah, it's great because we have had a cold winter and it was winter before it was winter this year, in terms of both cold and precipitation.
Yeah, pretty cold down here in the south.
And then
More
it's
than
going to
normal.
cool off, starting on Thursday, it's going to drop into like the 50s and everything. But I
We
think we
might get
might be.
snow then. It might drop to the 30s and you'll have another blizzard.
No, that was the thing. I think last week I mentioned that my weather app was talking about how like last Monday in the forecast it said it was like the coldest day until next winter. Being so
Wow.
declarative that they were like so sure this was going to be the coldest day for the next 9 months. Now I'm looking at my extended forecast and I'm like Wednesday the 18th, it says high 39. I'm like, oh, that might be colder than what last Monday was. I don't remember for sure. Bastards already fucking lied. How about that?
Hey,
But
don't.
no,
Oh,
I am
they
kind
always
of
do.
hopeful. I am kind of hopeful that maybe winter's over. The funny thing is because it has rained, off and on for like the last like 3, 4 days here. Um, we've been in like technically, well, not technically, we've been in, I believe, classified drought conditions up here for like a year or so now.
Jeez. With all that snow, still.
Yeah, because it has to do with like the way the stuff like actually seeps into the ground and everything. It's like that's why they said like getting like thunderstorms and like floods, of course, doesn't help anything because it doesn't absorb into the ground. It just runs off and everything like that. But
It has to
um,
thaw. We need to thaw.
yeah, but so when I saw that there was like going to be like rain in the forecast, half because I was wanting it to help melt the remaining snow, piles that were around, which it mostly has now. There's still a couple here and there, but not that it are really affecting me. Like not on the road where I park. Um, I'm like, oh yeah, we really need the rain. We need this rain. We're in a drought and everything like this. Blah blah blah. Then after it rains for like 3 days in a row, you're just going, ah, fuck the fucking rain, man. I needed to stop fucking raining.
Yes, yes. It's oof, I understand. Definitely do. Um,
No, seriously though, I would just like to see the sun again because the sun is nice.
yeah.
The sun's out today. At least here it is.
I was gonna say I do not. I mean, it's a little hard because I got the curtain drawn, but I don't really think it's sunny yet. Like I said, it's supposed to be. The sun is definitely supposed to be out later this afternoon, but I mean,
Here comes the sun. Doot doot doot.
So question.
how dare you?
Well, never mind. I guess I'm looking at the standings. So the standings
How
verify my
dare
my
you
thought
insult me?
process that the Yankees and Phillies play their spring training in Florida, correct?
Yes, they are two Florida teams.
Well, then fuck you both. Then I'm not asking you guys. Okay, that's cool.
Okay, go fuck yourself.
You
I
got
don't
your
pay
team.
attention to baseball,
Your
even in the
team's
regular
playing in
season.
Florida.
You, you want me to pay
Bah.
attention in the spring training season? Are you crazy?
Yeah, so this is that's what it is. The Grapefruit League and the Cactus League. The
Oh my.
Grapefruit League is where it's hot and wet. The Cactus League is where it's hot and dry.
I'd rather go where it's hot and dry.
No,
No,
you
I bring that.
wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
I know I would it. I want it hot and wet.
Joe is all about the DAP, not the WAP.
It needs to be moist, guys. It needs to be nice and moist.
Ah,
You guys are
stop.
Moist
I hate
and
disgusting.
that. I hate
west.
that word.
West. Wet and
No.
moist.
No, I hate that word. Stop it.
Oh no. I have just been
Mm.
on this thing of I don't want to say I'm on a kick, but it's just kind of thinking about things I want to do. And spring training is something I've always wanted to go to. I don't care who's playing. The young prospects I want to see, great. The minor leaguers are still have 2 or 3 years to go. That's fine. I just want to go down and experience spring training. And my team plays in Arizona, and your guys plays in Florida. So I was just thinking of, getting a group of people to go some spring training, if all possible. But yeah, it's something I've always wanted to do, and I'm just trying to figure out things to start actually getting motivated to do. Hence why I said earlier about being motivated to do stuff. A couple
See
things on
that?
my list, and that's one of those things on my list I'd want to do.
See, that's one of the things that disappoints me is
You disappoint me. I'm always disappointed by you.
the Braves used to do their spring training at Disney World at the Wide World of Sports complex.
Ah, yes, yes. ESPN Wild World of Sports.
My family was in Disney World back in March of it was 2007, and um, when we were there, I'm pretty sure the Braves had a game or two, and I was really kind of tempted to say to my dad, "Let's go watch a spring training game. It's right here." But the problem is when you go to Disney World, you have a very carefully planned itinerary about which park you're going to and which day and which tickets you're buying, which dinner reservations you're making. So we just didn't have time for that and everything. But it's like that would have been kind of neat, be like, oh yeah, we're here at Disney World watching spring training baseball.
That would have been fun.
Yeah,
I
totally
would
would
have,
have
yeah, it's just something I've wanted to do for a long time. And I just kind of need to figure out and plan it and do it.
It's also kind of funny with the I've always found it funny with like the two Florida teams, so the Rays and the Marlins, how they're already in Florida, you know, but they still have spring training locations which are not, where they play and everything.
Yeah.
And the funny thing now, of course, too, is with Tropicana Field still being out of commission, the Rays are playing at Steinbrenner Field, which is the Yankee spring training complex. So it's like the Yankees are still there again for spring training, and then they got to get out so like to let the Rays, be tenants again there this year.
Yep.
It's really funny in a not so funny way because it's obviously not good that the field was damaged the way it was because of the hurricane and everything.
Yeah. No, no, definitely not.
But it's just it's kind of funny in a way. So it's like, yeah, is Tropicana Field due to be back in commission next year?
I have to look. I believe it should be ready for next season. I don't think it's gonna be
Oh
ready
no,
for
actually, it
this
says
season.
they were returning to Tropicana Field this year.
Oh, so they're
Oh, I I
I thought it
thought
was
for
good.
sure that it was still out of commission this year.
Well, unless they were able to get things working quicker because they said it was might take 2 years.
Yeah, I know. That's
And I was thinking to myself, really 2 years to fix all that? But okay, never mind. Who am I to judge?
Yeah.
no, no. Here's like an article from a week and a half or so ago. Raise upgrade premium seating for return to Trop.
Oh,
Okay, so they're back. All right. So it was only
Have you
one
ever
year that
had the
they had to
Trots?
divert. Well, that's actually pretty good then. Now of course they still need a new stadium because that stadium is still shit. And I can't remember what's going on with that now, but
I think they're going to be able to build a stadium
Was that
in
real or was that your mouth?
in
Was that real or was that your mouth?
I think they are in the works of building a new stadium or getting approved for one. I think I read that a couple months ago.
yeah, I can't even remember.
How are you feeling, bud?
Um,
Lucas.
let's see what it says here.
Lucas.
Proposed
How are
new
you feeling?
ballpark. Uh,
Let me
Hmm.
find
Oh God, this is all old information. In January 2026, it was reported that a site near Hillsborough College's Dale Mabry campus was the new location for the new ballpark and 110-acre
Didn't take a
mixed-use
nap yet.
district with a memorandum of understanding being signed later that
Still
month to
feeling
pursue
warm.
development. The location is close to George M. Steinbrenner Field, Raymond James Stadium, and Tampa International Airport. That actually sounds like it would be an ideal location then, just because it's in close proximity to those other places. In February 2026, the state of Florida approved the land transfer to Hillsborough College. Okay, so that sounds good, but that's still very much in the conceptual process. And like, no ground's been broken, nothing like that. So they're in Tropicana Field um, for at least, I'll put it conservative, at least 3 more years.
Jeremy, just give him
Yeah.
2 shots of whiskey and have him prop himself up, close his eyes, and he'll be good.
Two
And
shots
take a
of
nap.
Well,
I was expecting to say something there like 2 shots of whiskey and a Vicodin or something.
No, no,
no,
no
that's
Vicodins.
the pro wrestler recipe.
Well, that's why I was afraid he was going to say it.
Um, yeah, he's just a little under the weather. Like he's got a little bit of a fever, sore throat. The sniffles are starting to come on. So if he did have the flu, it didn't hit him hard like it hit me. Like I had the flu this year. I haven't had the flu in years, um, and like I felt like drained for like 2 days straight. Um,
Yeah.
and he was just kind of drained yesterday after his little league evaluations.
Yeah, understandable.
Which I
My
say,
my my younger niece was apparently sick the last few days, and I was over in Jersey yesterday seeing a movie with my dad, and I was going to do my customary stop over to my sister's house as I normally do when I go over there. But she's like, "Well, Eleanor's been sick the last few days." I'm like, "Oh, well, I think I'll still stop by." And then the sister that I live with was all like, "Don't you be bringing any germs home?" So I was like texting my younger sister, and I was
cross
like, "Okay,
contamination.
I was all like, okay, I don't think I'll stop over then. I don't want to incur other sisters' wrath.
The
And,
wrath.
and then she's all like, oh, I told Eleanor Eleanor wants to see you. And yes, my niece who's been sick. And he's like, oh, she was combing out her hair and it was so tangled from 3 days of not combing it that it was hurting her so much that she was crying. And I'm like, oh my God, all right, fine, fine. I'll come over. And then she goes, oh, but now Gavin's showing symptoms. I'm
Like
like, all
hell
right,
no.
I'm not coming over then.
All right, people, make up your damn mind. What's going
Yeah,
on?
I know. It's like, no, but seriously, I did want to say to my sister, wait a minute. So you give me this sob story kind of about how she's like combing out her hair so much that it hurts and it's making her cry. And I was gonna, add to my running joke that I always say to her that she needs a haircut because she always gets mad at me when I say she needs a haircut. Um, and now and it's like, so why didn't you tell me that Gavin was sick? Was starting to show the symptoms when you're telling me all this. But yeah, I just,
That's funny.
But
Making you
it's
feel
that it's
horrible.
that time of the year where, as they say, it's going around.
Yeah. Well, I was looking up. I was like, because I was like, I know flu and cold season is like December to like February. So like that's the heart of flu and cold season. Um, so I was like, you know what? We're out of February. We're technically in March. It's starting to warm up. Let me just check and see what the experts are saying about flu and cold season. And evidently, right now, because of the weather that we're having, uh, flu influenza B is on a high. Um,
Oh yeah, so
so I'm like, I guess we're not out of the woods yet with that stuff. So,
nope,
and
we're
evidently, one of
definitely
his
not.
classmates did have the flu the other day. So it's a very good possibility he could have gotten something from his classmate. But you know how that is. You could be around somebody and never catch what they get, and you could not be around somebody and all of a sudden you got something.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just never freaking know.
Yeah,
Nico was like
you
that.
can be asymptomatic and all that, but still carrying the shit and pass it on to somebody else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
Nico was
just
like that
glad.
last week. He was
Mm,
like feeling under the weather, a little sore throat, runny nose, tired. Didn't have a fever at all, but he was, he was having something. Plus, it doesn't help that the weather's going from like one day it's like 78 degrees and the next day it's 41. Um, plus, he's going to school with kids. He's a high schooler, so
yeah, I'm
those
just
kids
glad it.
sniffle all over the place.
I'm just glad it last waited until we were done with his evaluations. Like it didn't affect his evaluations. Like it was funny. As soon as we stepped outside and got in the car, he goes, "Dad, my throat's hurting." I was like, "Well, you were just in a like super dry environment for the last 2 hours, and you didn't really get any water breaks." I was like, "Just drink water. Like get lots of water right now." I was like, that'll probably help." And it didn't, but like I said, it didn't affect his evaluations, which is good. And I was actually very surprised how well he did. Like I wasn't expecting him to do as well as he did.
Well, that's
So,
good.
um,
He's learning.
just because I was expecting nerves to play into it a little bit. Like that's what I was expecting, like nerves a little bit. But he did well with his hitting that they had in practice. Like they had it set up in stations. It was very well organized. Like they had him um, throw back and forth to loosen up their arms. And then they moved right from there. They moved into the fielding station. So they hit him a couple ground balls. They threw him a couple pop flies. Um, and then after everybody was done, there was 50 kids trying that were being evaluated yesterday just for his
Wow.
division. 50 freaking kids. I was like, good Lord. So then they moved him down to the batting station. Of course, Lucas was number 49 out of 50. So he was
Oh,
at the end of the line because they had him lined up numerically, which was done alphabetically. He's like, it really stank. I was number 49. He's like, I guess this is what happens when you have your last name starts with a V. I was like, yep, buddy, it does.
it's all your fault, Jeremy. How dare you?
Um, so he was waiting a really long time for every station to be able to do the fielding portion, to be able to do the batting portion. So then they had 4 stations for batting. They had soft pitch, which is where they kind of toss it up. 1 second, buddy. And then they have 2 T sections, and then they had a batting cage where they had like the football pitching machines. Where they were
Hmm.
like, he puts his hand up, he's like, "Okay, it's coming," and shoots the ball out. Um, he did well in that. The only time he didn't make contact is he didn't load. Like we've learned that he needs to load as soon as he sees like the pitcher's arm going up, load back, so he's not taking that time to go back and then forward.
Hmm.
He because his for his age, I would say his bat speed's a little under where some of the other kids are. So if
It's a
he
little
loads
slower.
first, he has that same speed going forward. He just needs to make sure he loads so his decision making is a little bit faster then. And
I
then he got the
understand.
pitch. Like they asked him if he wanted to pitch, so he got the pitch, and they gave him 4 to 5 pitches to throw. And they don't need a lot. Every station was like 4 or 5 things, like 4 or 5 balls for each station. So
Okay.
um, he threw. They weren't all strikes, but they were all within the vicinity of the plate where a non-disciplined batter would probably swing at them like a little bit high in the strike zone, a little bit low.
Hmm.
Maybe corner of the plate kind of area. I was like, wow. I was like, he didn't pitch like that yesterday when we were at D bats. And they have him on a raised mound too. Like they had him on a raised mound. So I guess even at this age group for Little League, they're gonna have raised mounds. He's like, I think that's better.
It is
I'm
better.
like, I'm like, okay.
It
Turns out he did.
literally is better for them, to be honest.
So, so yeah,
What
I'm not gonna
positions of
sit
the
here. So just so everybody knows, not sitting here saying my kid's the best. I was just impressed by his performance yesterday.
Lucas, you need 2 shots of whiskey, bro,
Joe says you need two shots of whiskey.
and you'll be fine.
He said, no, I don't.
You'll be fine. It'll kick that cold right out.
Ah, so I found a little more information about that proposed new Rays ballpark.
Yes.
Um, so it mentions about they in addition to like this land being transferred and everything. Last month, the Rays entered into a memorandum of understanding in an effort to strike a deal to build a new ballpark and mixed use development in association with Hillsborough College. Scroll down a little further. Following the striking of last month's MOU, and the MOU was in January because this article was in February, the two sides have 180 days to exclusively negotiate and vote on a final agreement amid a stated goal of having a new ballpark in place in time for the 2029 MLB season.
Ooh,
Huh.
2029.
It's not
And
too
then it
far
mentions
away.
the Rays' current lease deal to play at Tropicana Field expires in 2028, so that's why they would also need to really have it in place. So it's like So they still have, I guess I would say, 5 months to hammer out all the details, and then 2.5 years to build the stadium. I mean,
which could be done.
yeah, let's see him do it, because it's like, I don't know that getting a new stadium will solve all the economic issues that the Rays have. I mean, probably not entirely, but I mean, I really can't hurt at this point, I don't think, because I mean, my dad has always said, and I think a lot of people have always agreed, this the problem is that this they always built the stadium in the wrong place, and that it should have been in Tampa, not in St. Petersburg. And of course, I've always kind of defended the Rays in a way by saying, well, but you got to remember that stadium was not built for them. They just chose to occupy it rather than
Yeah.
build a
Hmm.
new stadium, which also should have been a bit of a red flag because, um,
We'll take your sloppy seconds.
No, right?
well, think about the other 90s expansion teams other than the Rays. You had, the Rockies, the Marlins, the Diamondbacks. The Rockies played in Mile High for what was it, 1 or 2 years, and then built Coors Field.
Yep.
The Diamondbacks, I don't remember if they played in what is now Chase Field right away or if they played temporarily somewhere else. I'd have to look it up. The Marlins, of course, chose to just occupy Joe Robbie Stadium, Pro Player Park, Tony Montana Lang Real Estate Stadium, whatever the fuck it was called, all the name switches it had over the years.
Yeah,
Did you
really.
say Tony Montana Lean?
Tony Montana. I was starting to say Tony. I was starting to say Tony Montana Land Grant Stadium, but then I switched it up to saying Tony Montana Real Estate Stadium. Yeah. Hey, he had the money for it, I think. Uh,
We assume.
but now the Marlins finally moved into their own park. But of course, the Marlins having that their own park definitely hasn't solved all the issues from them. But I also think that's maybe more the market of Miami, more so than anything else. But who the fuck knows? But anyway, it's like, yeah, Tropicana Field already existed because they built that stadium in anticipation of getting, I think it was either the White Sox or the Giants to try to move there back in the late 80s, early 90s until the White Sox, got Chicago to build new Comiskey Park, which is now,
I don't know. It's a new, they just
what the
changed the
fuck?
name like 2 years ago or a year
Yeah, it
ago.
was US Cellular Field for the longest time, but now it's not that anymore. And then the Giants, it took them several more years, but they eventually, of course, got what is now AT&T Park, but I think it was Pacific Bell Park, Pac Bell Park at the start.
Yeah.
You know what? This is one of the things that annoys the hell out of me. I used to know the name of every stadium in the NFL and MLB. I don't anymore because they switched the fucking corporate sponsorship so much. I can't keep up with this shit.
It's not like it used to be for that
I'm
stuff.
too old for this shit, damn it.
Did you hear that, Jeremy? The young guy saying he's too old.
Well, when you have as much gray hair as I do, then you can start saying you're old. Or
Hey, I
maybe
have
if
gray
you're as
hair. You
much
just
as
can't see
Joe.
it that well because it's only coming in this area, and it kind of sort of blends in, especially when it's shorter. So,
Yeah, well,
my
that's where you
facial
got to
hair has
grow out
not
the
turned
rest of
gray
your
yet,
facial
unlike
hair
some
and
other
see what kind
people.
of gray's in there. That's where all my gray is in my facial hair.
Yeah. And my facial hair has not turned gray yet, like unlike some other people. So,
Listen, mine's all over. Beard, top of my head, below the waist. It's gray everywhere.
He likes his salt, not so much pepper.
Oh,
Also, and I always felt bad for Sakamoto. That boy, 15 years ago was already starting to go gray.
yeah,
Like
I
he had
know.
the bad genetic for
He
his hair, full head of hair, thick as shit,
yeah,
but started going gray at like 25. You know,
yeah, he was one of those guys that had the grays coming in super early. Oof.
and never knew because he always wore that damn backwards hat. The
Oh
only
yeah,
time I
about the
ever
times, yeah.
noticed is he finally took off the hat. I think he did one wrestling thing with us, and he had no hat on, and I was like, "Oh damn, oh shit, that's a lot of gray."
He was
Surprising.
trying to cover it. He should have been dyeing that shit back then. I mean, I would have in my 20s. I don't want that gray hair coming through. Fuck that.
okay, so this kind of
Man, he's still on this, man. Talk about damn stadiums.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
ignoring you. Um,
yeah, yeah.
so I guess I didn't realize this, but anyway, it opened as Joe Robbie Stadium, then it was Pro Player Park for literally 2 weeks
Oh,
until
I
they
remember
changed
when
the
they
name
called it
to
Pro
until
Player
they changed it
Park.
to Pro Player Stadium.
Yes, the whole pro player.
Then it was Dolphins Stadium, then Dolphin Stadium, then Landshark Stadium, then back to Dolphin Stadium for about 2 weeks until they then made it Sun Life Stadium. Then it was New Miami Stadium until they sold the naming rights to Hard Rock Stadium, which is what it is now. And I guess I'm also stupid in that I didn't realize that Hard Rock Stadium is Joe Robbie Stadium. They just like renovated it massively to put that like kind of weird ceiling on it and everything. So
Interesting.
and what yeah, and what's also funny then too is like I said,
Would you like to
Landshark
sponsor
Stadium.
our stadium?
Hmm?
We need a new sponsor this week.
Yeah.
we
Well,
need a
well,
we need a bi-weekly sponsor.
here's the good thing. It will be Hard Rock Stadium until at least 2034. That's the next time the naming rights will be eligible. Will be up for bid on that stadium. So
That's until Hard Rock's like, we don't want to be there anymore. We're done with this.
yeah. But what I was gonna say is Landshark Stadium was one of the names. And because I was saying like Tony Montana Real Estate Stadium and joking, it's because I saw somebody make that joke in an article years ago. The Marlins Stadium that they moved into is called Lone Depot. It was originally Marlins Park. It's now Lone Depot Park. So in a way, that's Tony
Lone
Montana Real Estate
Depot?
Stadium.
Lone Depot.
I
Oh,
wonder if Landshark, thinking of the beer company Landshark, I wonder if they had to pay any money to SNL for naming rights because of their skit many, many years ago, Landshark.
Landshark.
that's a good question.
It's the mailman. Open the door, Landshark. Oh,
Can't
That is a
Terror.
good question.
Mrs. Farmer. I'm here to look at the cable.
Just so it's such when you think back at it now, it's like an iconic skit, but most kids nowadays would be like, that is so lame.
Yeah, they won't
You're
understand.
right. It probably is a little lame, but it was funny back then.
The
Well,
kids
yeah.
won't get
I
it.
I still think it's funny now. I mean, it's also a bit of a time and a place thing because it's only like a year or so after Jaws, so
Hmm.
you know that's another reason because that was the thing too. Like they always did in that skit because they did that skit like I think it was like 3 times or so. Um, it's like every time like you like the sketch starts and like when he first rings the doorbell and everything, you start hearing the doo so it's like they were really emphasizing the joke and everything, but yeah, but yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I love that one
So
time he was all like, land shark. You're like, what? I'm a land shark. Still opens the door and gets eaten.
I mean, it's better than
um
this whole 6-7 bullshit. That means absolutely fucking nothing. Let's say
um
6-7 and do this. What are you fondling your balls? What are you doing?
That's what I said the first time my sister like made that gesture to me when she was trying to explain it to me. I was like, so they're, fondling a guy's balls? I mean,
Yeah.
that's literally the only time unless they're trying to say like 6 of one. But that's the other thing too. Like sometimes people make that gesture when they're like, oh, 6 of one, half dozen the other. Yeah, that's 6 and 6. So that's not 6 and 7. I mean, so
It's just some made up bullshit, and that means absolutely fucking nothing. It's just a let's have a funny gesture.
right. And it was like,
So
and look,
creative, these kids these days.
well, see,
Slackers.
this is the thing. I was thinking about slang
Slacking.
I was thinking about slang the other day. Okay. And I was thinking about the things that we said as like slang back in like like the 90s and everything. And I was thinking about some of like the slang terms that people use today, which are really just
it's the
taking.
bomb, baby. Thebomb.com.
Well,
it's
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 not
fire.
right, right. There we go.
That
I was
shit's
gonna say,
fire.
isn't the bomb isn't saying the bomb pretty old now? Um,
Thebomb to the
but
bomb.
yeah, but like to say something's like fire, it's like you're taking an existing word and you're just applying a new like meaning to it, and it's like, and I was like, man, that's really stupid. And I thought, well, wait a minute, isn't that what we did too? When we started saying everything was cool or radical or hot, it's like it's really the same thing, isn't it? So it's like.
I
But
think
then, of
this
course,
these
but then of course,
generation
the old man yelling at clouds part of me says, "Well, what was wrong with the slang we created? Why couldn't you just keep using that?"
Well, the thing about it is like some of the stuff they use and the words they repurpose for their slang. Sometimes the shit doesn't make no sense. It's like it's kind
But
of
that's I'm sure
beyond.
that's what people older thought about our slang, you know?
Probably, but they've kind of upped it
At
to
least
a
our
different
slang
level.
made sense. They were words that were real words, not making up stuff that has no meaning.
Correct.
Okay. So what are some slang terms that you hear today that like kids use that you say are made up?
Fa.
Fa?
Yep.
Yep. FA A. Maybe an H in there. You know what it stands for? It's the F word. It's so that they can say the F word in school. And guess what? All the teachers are not smart enough to know that that's what they're trying to do. So they're like, if I hear anybody say fa, you're getting written up. So they're not as smart as they think they are.
Oh, okay. So like frick or frig or freak.
Frickin' A!
Yeah,
Look at
like
it,
those
man.
too obvious as a substitute for saying fuck. Is that what we're saying?
I don't know.
That's a legit question. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
fa
don't know,
means
man.
fuck.
Okay. I think today was literally the first time I'd ever heard that. I'm
um,
gonna have to ask my sister, both my sister. Well, more so my older sister. My younger sister teaches like fourth graders, so
No,
um,
not
my,
yet. Give them another year or two.
my older sister teaches seventh and eighth graders, so I'll have to ask her if she's familiar with that one. Yeah.
so let me look up some things because I can't remember them off the top of my head.
I mean, they would do sus. Sus is whatever.
Yeah,
I
sus
mean,
means you're
that's
suspect.
taking an existing word and just shortening it.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
that was the big thing for a little while. That was the big thing.
Bussin was very popular for a while as well.
Bussin'.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
means it
think
was
I
really
have heard that
good.
one. Yeah, that one does sound a little dumb to me because
Um,
you like going on the bus. No, I'm serious. It's like I don't understand how the word bus is used as like a way to describe something that's like cool or whatever.
no,
It's
you're
like,
not saying it right. It's bussin'.
Bussin.
right, but the root word is bus. Okay.
It's, I'm going bussin'.
Bussin.
I'm going
Bussin.
bussin'. I'm going bussin'. I'm
Let's
gonna
see.
take multiple buses for a
We got
ride.
slaps. Slaps has been another
Yes.
one.
Flaps?
Slap.
Slaps. Like slap you
Slaps.
in the face. It slaps.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I
It's
mean,
another
that one
word
just
for. It's another way of saying it's the same thing as bussin'. It's really good.
right. I mean,
It's
I
hard.
kind of get that one. At the same time, it does sound a little it does sound a little dumb then because it's like
Drip.
you want something to
There's
slap you in
one.
the face.
Drip is
Drip.
another one.
What was that?
Drip.
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 We used to say
Bet.
you're. We used to say like you're a drip, like meaning you're dumb or something.
Bet is
Yeah.
another thing.
Yep. Drip is for your clothing. You got drip.
You got
Oh.
style. Bet means you're agreeing to something.
Say that one again.
Bet.
You bet.
Just the word bet.
Instead of for sure or yeah, I'm down with that or cool, sounds good.
Yeah, it's like, yo,
Bet.
we're going to the park to play ball tonight. Bet. That's the
Bet.
reply. Bet.
Because it's hard to say sure or
Yeah.
okay or right on.
And they used the word, they used it, well, I don't think they really use it anymore, but they used to use brain rot as well as something being negative.
Is what?
Brain rot because it's a game
Oh,
on
brain
Roblox.
rot. Oh,
Yeah, you
geez, I
got
thought you
brain
said
rot,
something totally
man.
different.
So eight. There's another one. Eight. I
I'm
ate.
pretty sure that I suffer from brain rot these days because I just watch endless YouTube shorts and everything. I'm like, I think it has killed my fucking brain.
Here, cooked. There's one cooked.
I mean, I kind of get that one too, but yeah, to say that something is cooked, really, I know what it means and like the connotation, like but not everything that's cooked is bad.
Another thing too is there's one, I don't know if they're using it right now, but I did hear it on the news the other day,
I mean,
uh,
burnt, I get,
probably a couple months ago. It's called Finsta.
I've
finsta.
heard that one. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
no idea what that one means.
Finsta is when they'll make a comment like check my Finsta. So it's like an Instagram account that's not their Instagram
Yeah, their
account.
fake
A
Instagram
fake insta.
account.
Yeah.
Um, Here's one for you. Cap or no cap. Cap, no cap.
Yeah.
Telling lies or telling truth. Cap, man, that's cap. Meaning that's a lie.
No cap. I'm serious.
See, I guess the thing that kind of annoys me the most about this is so many of these things are like short one syllable words because it's like, are you incapable of speaking?
My
So
favorite
they
was Riz. I had to understand. It took me a little while to understand
Riz.
Riz, and I'm like,
Riz is so funny.
you mean he has charisma?
Well, I mean,
Like you don't
charisma
want
is
to say the whole
annoying.
word? It's too many syllables for you? Like, man, he got
Charisma is a
Riz.
little bit of an
Yes, you're.
annoying word to say, so I kind of
I
understand.
like charisma. It sounds very cool. It's a very cool sounding word, charisma.
They use the word CEO now too as a slang.
Yes.
CEO means like you're the master at something. So like I'll just use video gaming. Be like, yo, Geo's the CEO of Overwatch, whatever. That means he's the master of Overwatch. He's really good at Overwatch. Instead of just saying, yo, Geo's really good at playing Overwatch. He's high ranked. Yo, he's the CEO of Overwatch, bro.
Here's one, Delulu. I like that one because delusional Delulu. At least it like goes with
Lulu. Yeah, they kind of used the word and kind of shortened and made something interesting sounding out of it. And not something
120
stupid.
teen slangs. Oh my God. Oh yeah, 41's another one too.
Yeah, I've heard of that one, but I don't know. I don't remember what that one means. DTF is another one, but DTF is kind of like some weird
Ooh, aura. Got aura. That guy's got aura.
See,
DTF kind of has like,
DTF has a completely different meaning for me right now because of things that I encounter at my job. There's like there's a terminology for that with some stuff in my accounting job. So
yeah,
Do
well,
you have
DTF for the kids has more of like a sexual content to it. I just don't know what it is
yeah, do you have some
specifically.
BDE?
hmm?
BDE.
E
Some
D E.
big D
Oh,
energy.
well, yeah, okay.
Someone got some big dick energy going on right here.
I never have that. I can't get that energetic. What? It's tiring.
It is. It is.
It's tiring, and I'm 45 now, so
The one that I don't like that they throw around is boomer because they don't know what a boomer is. They have no idea what generation a boomer is.
yeah,
No, they don't. They just
that's the
call
thing.
anybody that's fucking remotely old a boomer. That's all they
I
do.
I've seen people using that. It's like I'm like, no, you can't call kids, like the younger generations. You can't call our generation boomers just because we're older than you. No, that doesn't make sense
No, that's not
because
how it
you,
works.
the boomers are your fucking grandparents, or maybe even by this point great grandparents. I don't know.
Oh,
And yeah, it
depending on when they're
refers to
born,
a
yeah.
specific trend that somebody created because of a specific time that happened after a specific, it's like you want to use that term, please go learn what it means first, and then you can use it. And it's like if you want to go call my parents boomers, who they definitely are, you're more than welcome to. But don't be calling me a fucking boomer.
I'm Gen X baby. Fuck you, boomer shit.
That's the whole thing for me. I know is when does Gen X end? See, Gen X officially ends
1980
with
is
the
usually
birth year
like the
1980. So it's like, so that means that me being born in 1981,
you're a millennial.
I'm a millennial, and I'm like,
But here's the problem. Here's something that he came up with is for those kids that were born like slightly after the supposed end of the Gen X era. They call them Zennials because there are a lot of kids that had parents that were older that and didn't grow up with the technology. Like my wife falls into that too. Like she was born in 83. I think she falls into that Zennial where some of the things that I experienced, she also experienced. But since she also experienced some things that I didn't going to school and things like that, like there was little things that are similar but different, and some things that were different. So they've created like a crossover generation called the Zennials that were born into like having boomer parents, but
You
also getting the
experience
technology.
Gen X stuff, but you've also experienced millennial stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
because
see that.
So
you
you're
were
a
born
zennial. We'll
outside.
give you the zennial term.
Well, that was the thing, and I guess because of where my birth date falls and the way that people have said like this is the defining years for these generations, and that's the other thing that kind of bothers me too. Generations I always thought were like 20 years, but these generations there seem to always like knock down to like 15, whatever. But when I would ever see like, well, these are like the typical characteristics of Gen Xers, and these are the typical characteristics of millennials, Gen Y, and I'm like, and I looked at both of them and I went, I don't fit into either of those. Yeah. It's just like I never felt that I felt into either one. So that's why I always felt like I was something different, you
Yeah,
know.
That's
you're
all
a
right. Right
Zennial.
now, right now the millennials are getting a lot of heat from the Gen Zers because like the Gen Zers think that the millennials are cringe because they try to dress like them and they're like they're old. They shouldn't be trying to dress like us. We got really good fashion. And I'm like, mother effer, your fashion is the fashion from the freaking 80s. You ain't doing nothing original.
No,
Sorry, sucker. All your stuff is rehashed. Like you ain't doing all the stuff that you guys have is all stuff that came before you. Like
they're
nothing
just
original. Let
they're
me tell
taking
you.
they're taking stuff and just changing a little bit to make it more of like their own. That's all they're doing.
And no offense, the same stuff happened in the 90s when we took back the 70s bell bottom pants. It brought those back and thought those were cool.
I remember that.
Yep.
Guess what? Your big flowy pants, those existed back in the 90s and they existed back in the 70s before that. So you ain't original. Sorry, sucker.
Nope. Not even close.
Well, you know what else? You know what also because always kind of bothered me is like the names for these generations and everything. Like baby boomers was understandable. It described a social phenomena, which was the increase in birth rates after World War II.
I mean,
Because
the new one's Alpha. Like you can name the new generation Alpha.
no,
Not
well,
even
that's what I mean.
close to it.
So
Bunch of
somebody,
Nancy's.
whoever it was, came up with Generation X, and it's like I look for how did the term Generation X come to be and everything, and it seems to be like still really kind of hard to define exactly what they meant by like Generation X. Like they felt like X'd out or alienated. It's like, all right, that is still don't
Well,
understand why you call it
we were
Generation
the
X.
latchkey kids, and I guess
Right,
that's
that's another term. But it's like it still doesn't really describe for me in a good way as to like why it was called Generation X. Then okay, but whatever. All right. But so then what came after that then? Oh, they just started Generation Y, Generation Z, and now they're talking Generation Alpha and Generation Beta. And it's like, oh my God, you couldn't come up with like a name?
I know.
It's like the closest thing is that Generation Y is also called Millennials because, based upon the birth years and everything, these were kids were growing up when the century turned and everything. So it's like I kind of understood that part.
Yeah.
Well, not just the century, but went from the 1900s to the 2000s, or not the 1000s to the 2000s. There we go.
Yeah.
I can talk. Um,
whatever, boomer.
I had boomer brain there, yeah. But
You
seriously,
had
it's like
brain
so.
rot there.
So I'm like, somebody got really lazy with these names, man. And you know what? And that pisses me off as much as anything else. Because if there's something that I have understood for a long time, it's that the way you title something is very, very important.
And the funny thing is, they're going with Gen Alpha because the whole alpha male thing is so
Well, no, it's
terrible.
they just basically recycled back to A after they got to Z,
Yeah,
but they're
I
like, we
know.
can't call it Generation A because we did X, Y, Z. We'll eventually run into it again. So like, oh, let's just start using the Greek terms. So I guess the one after Generation Beta is going to be whatever fucking C in
C
Greek
would
is.
be if there's a Greek letter for the Greek C letter.
I can't remember what it is actually. Is it Zeta?
Generation Centaur.
Well, here, hold on.
I don't look.
List of
Centaur
Greek
with a C.
letters. Okay.
Well, Delta would be
Now
D.
gamma is after beta.
Oh, Generation Gamma. Well, everybody's got
Well,
radiation
well,
poisoning.
see, that's the thing. I mean,
You all turn into Incredible Hulks now?
right. I was just about to say. So I'm like, isn't that going to put a lot of pressure on these kids to all become the Hulk? I mean, come on.
That's a lot to live up
I'm
to.
so angry. They're all going
That's
to
a
be
lot to live
angry.
up to.
Let's say if there's one thing we don't need, it's a lot of like baby Hulks running around.
So yeah, so there was a. I don't know if how much you guys pay attention to it, but for just thinking of the whole Generation Alpha thing, I don't love that just because it's still happening. Not as much as it was, but there was a huge push in the male space for men to be alpha males, like the alpha male and what an alpha male is, and this and that. And it's like these guys, like Andrew Tate, was one of those guys that pushed the alpha male. Some of these guys that were living the natural life, were alpha males, and it's just like it became a
Oh,
very
like the carnivore
toxic,
diet and
yeah,
homeboy who only ate what's his name, who only ate
Liver
meat or
King,
whatever, the Liver King who was on steroids. Okay, yeah.
yeah. It like there was that huge push to be a dominant male, be the man in the room, and it was really like if you listen to these guys talk more than like 10 to 15 minutes, like you could realize like they were so self-insecure that they just belittled everybody around them to make themselves feel dominant and better. And it's
Yeah.
just like that
Oh,
is
is that why
not
he
what we
rapes
want to
women?
teach any this is not what we want to teach any person, male or female, to act like this is not a good behavior model for anybody.
I mean, yeah, Andrew Tate and his brother and their ilk are rapists. So um, yeah, yeah, any male who I swear to God, if I had a son and they told me that if they liked Andrew Tate, I would immediately do two things. One, slap the shit out of him. Two, figure out where I failed as a parent to make him go to that. I don't want to say ideology, but just go to that way of thinking like that's what I want to be. That's what I admire. That's the kind of this whole like alpha male thing. No, first of all, yes, we are animals. Human beings are animals, but we're
Yeah.
supposed to be a little bit more evolved than that, and not subject to base primal instincts, which like alpha male, alphas in the animal kingdom show and everything.
Yeah,
That's not the way humanity is supposed to work, in my view. I'm
right.
sorry.
Well, and
You're
there's
not
that.
supposed
There
you're
was
not you're not supposed
this.
to have the attitude like, oh, I do what I want, I take what I want, I can treat women and people who I think are lesser than me any way that I want. I can abuse them mentally, physically, whatever. It's just such fucking horseshit. And the fact that it's like that there is like these movements and it's so popular about it, I don't really fucking understand where people come up with this thinking. It's like I understand feeling neglected and alienated and this and that, but you're not neglected and or alienated because we're women are making strides or this ethnic group is making strides. That no, fuck off.
Yeah. Um. I know, buddy. He goes, I hate being sick. Trust me, I know, dude.
Don't go tell them to play
Yes.
video games
But
and
there,
shut
yeah,
up.
there's like podcasts like Fresh and Fit. Like these guys just bring on these women and essentially like belittle them because of their chosen profession or their body
No,
count.
I will say some of those females on that one,
Well, yeah,
you
they
could
are.
tell like I don't know how they graduated high school,
Yeah, there
if
are
they
some
even
pretty.
did.
Yeah, I think, and they purposely pick those women too. They like when through their
Yes.
interview process, they're like, "Yep, you're the perfect person to bring on here because we're gonna
Oh
make
yeah.
all women look really dumb, right, by bringing you on."
What
Um,
country is what continent is the United States on? Nebraska.
yeah,
That's
Oh
legit too, by the
God,
way.
I would just have to
yeah, and it's
find a
all
blunt
done on
instrument and hit
purpose.
myself in the head with it.
Yeah, and it's all done on purpose, and because there are people out there that have no idea that the United States is part of the continent of America. Like it's the America's continent. Like there's North America, South America, Central America, and all that. Like that's the continent.
Well, I mean, it kind of reminds me of a couple seasons ago in Hell's Kitchen where Ramsey got pissed off at the women's team, and he's like, "What planet are you on?" And this one woman goes all proudly, "America," and then immediately realized how she fucked up. But it was all like Brad. He looked at her like,
just
Yeah.
and think about it. People that don't realize that Europe is the continent and not like a country there. Like Europe's the continent. The countries that embody Europe are like Germany and France and Spain, and those make up Europe. Like Europe is not like a country in that's the continent, people. But yeah, it's just yeah, they
I think I
purposely
heard
bring on
somebody.
women that they can make fun of. They also
I,
did, they did
yeah.
this one. and I saw it, and I can't remember the guy that was on it, but they hosted one of the guys from Fresh and Fit, and I can't think of his name, but he hosted this like male. What does it truly mean to like be a man that supports, that like provides, and like what is it? And they just asked the definite, like that was the question. That wasn't what the show was about, but the question that they asked, what does it mean to be a man? Like what is your definition? Um, and so like one of the I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the guy. His name is Andrew Wilson. He's kind of a jerk off. Um,
I've heard of him.
he debates a lot of women and a lot of pro women people, like men who are like about like feminist, pro feminism, and he just acts like a total dick to him. Like he just, anyways, so he's like giving his definition of what a man is, and that was like I saw that clip, I was like, oh, I like what this guy says because he's talking about being a provider for his family and taking care of his kids and stuff. One other guy gets up on the panel and he's like, "You're gonna take advice from a guy that has 10-inch arms? You're gonna take advice from a guy that looks like he pees sitting down?" I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Like, and here it was this guy that had been in prison for, he says 10 years, really wasn't in prison for 10 years. Like people did a whole bunch of background stuff on him, and he's like all jacked up on steroids and stuff like that. And it's like, can't put together a coherent sentence. He just attacks everybody on stage just to show that he's the alpha male, that he's the dominant man on the stage, and you shouldn't take advice from anybody but him. It's like, okay. Like,
I mean,
yeah.
it's like it was, seriously, the next time like somebody ever says like, "Oh, Andrew Tate's such an alpha male," it's like somebody said, "Oh yeah, here's a picture of him after that MMA fight he had a couple months ago."
Yeah, he looked real alpha then.
Yeah,
Oh, and that weird. He definitely
I just still don't know how he's
looked
not in
bad.
prison. But anyways, so yeah, all right. So March Madness is coming up. We were talking a little bit about that before we got online here. Um,
Yes.
I
are
say
there?
March Madness is already here.
Well, it is and it isn't. It's March. It's getting mad because conference tournaments are happening. Women's right now, as Joe mentioned, are going on right now. Some of the men's have gone on. Most of the major conferences are not happening till what, this weekend or
This
this
week.
week.
Yeah, Tuesday,
Yeah,
Wednesday.
most of the big conferences don't start until like Tuesday, Wednesday, depending upon how many rounds they go. I mean, all these conferences are so freaking huge now, so it's like,
The big
Yeah.
one to watch out for is the ACC. That's always a big one. I saw Duke and North Carolina were playing yesterday.
Hmm.
Who
yeah,
came?
dude, the
Who
game
came
was
on
supposed to
top?
look like it looked like for maybe a couple of minutes. I didn't watch it because I was doing other stuff, but because
How can you
Carolina's best
not
player's
watch
been
your
out
favorite
with an
team?
injury, and then they officially ruled him out for the rest of the season. So I was like, I knew Carolina wasn't pulling off the upset this time, but it
Yeah.
looked like it was close for like at halftime and for maybe a few minutes into the second half, and then Duke pulled away. So yeah,
Yes. Duke won
it's
76 to
gonna really suck
61.
when I watch. Yeah, it's gonna suck when I watch Duke win the national championship this year. So yeah,
Yeah. So
Maybe.
fucking Duke.
so so the ACC is always a good one to look out for. The SEC is usually a decent conference for basketball. I don't see anybody from the Big Ten really. I mean, they're going to be competitive. They're always competitive in the tournament, but do we really have anybody from the Big Ten that we think is really
Michigan.
got a
Oh,
shot?
Michigan's up pretty high.
Michigan has a legit shot.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, like the top ranked teams as of right now in the rankings, which of course doesn't mean a lot, is Duke, Arizona, Michigan, UConn, Florida, Iowa State, Houston, Michigan State, Nebraska, and Texas Tech and Illinois kind of have the same record. And then you got Gonzaga, which always finds a way to disappoint in the tournament. Virginia, Kansas, Purdue, Alabama, North Carolina, St. John's. So that's, you know. But one thing that'll be kind of an interesting trend to watch. This is something that I know I've seen some sports writers talk about. Why is that on there?
I don't know.
Why is that on there?
I don't see anything.
Why do you have your name on there twice?
I don't know.
You got your yeah. You don't know. Funny how the one just disappeared.
It just disappeared.
Yeah, yeah,
I was doing something. If
yeah, yeah.
I'll do it again.
Anyway,
I'm display the weather. Look, 76 degrees, USA.
Not here.
I'm gonna turn it off. Still says USA.
USA. USA.
So 3 years ago, 2023, we had a bit of a chaotic tournament, if you remember. You had the second time where a 16 seed beat a 1 seed in the first round. That was Fairleigh Dickinson beating Purdue. And then you had a
Yes, Fairleigh
final,
Dickinson.
yep, and then you had a final four with no number one seeds. And in fact, none of the number one seeds made it to the Elite Eight even that year. And then the
That was
national
a great
championship,
year.
yeah, the national championship game was a 4 seed in UConn beating a 5 seed in San Diego State. But then 2 years ago, you had an 11 seed in North Carolina State making a run to the Final Four. And then after they had a bad season last year, they fired their coach. Um, but you had two number one seeds in the national championship game, which was UConn beating Purdue. And then last year, the Elite Eight matchups were 1 versus 2, 1 versus 2, 1 versus 2, and 1 versus 3. And then all four number one seeds made the Final Four, which I think was only the second or maybe third time that ever happened.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often for sure.
Yeah.
Listen, if you
Well,
look at
the thing is that what I was getting to is that the way a lot of people are speculating is that that could become the norm uh, more often now because they think that the way the transfer portal is, the fact that it has on basketball, is that it drifts the best players to the best teams that have the most resources and everything. So like the year like the time of like the Cinderellas and everything, could come to a close. And I'm like, I wonder what that could do to ratings for these things because I think one of the things that gets and the reason why they call it March Madness and everything is because literally anything can happen. You can have these crazy ass upsets, you can have the Cinderella teams and everything. So if it gets to the point where only the best teams are winning, I don't really I kind of wonder if people might lose interest because it's like, oh, it's always going to be Duke and Kansas and this team and that team, we'll have to see, but it'd be something to be kind of keep an eye on to see how this year's tournament unfolds.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
I was going to say, feel free to jump in there, somebody else. I was done.
the
He was going to talk, and then he
sometimes
let
we
you.
don't know with you. Okay.
Fair enough,
Sometimes
but I mean that was
we
longer than normal.
I know. I let that pause go quite some time there.
Dramatic pause.
I I don't think there's going to be very many upsets this year in the tournament. Honestly, I think you're going to see the Final Four is going to be a plethora of 1, 2s, and 3s, and that's going to be it. I don't see anything really that damaging the people's brackets this year. I see maybe a couple upsets maybe, but I'm not seeing a lot.
If they're going to
Honestly.
happen, they're going to happen early, and they're not going to happen late in the tournament. Once you filter out some of the, when you have 30, what is it? Starts off with 64 teams, right? 64 teams.
I mean, yeah, it's a 68 team tournament, but the first four.
Yeah,
The
but
playing games.
once you get past that first round and you get into the round of 32, there's usually no crazy upsets because usually, if there was an upset in the first round, that that upset is not going to happen. Not going to usually upset that next tier team. Usually they figured it out by then and are able to beat that lower tier team, the higher seed team instead of the lower seed team losing again. So
I mean,
I think
it
there's only been
depends.
like only a handful of second round upsets by higher seeded teams.
It depends. So last year, so looking at the teams that made the Sweet 16 last year, like if you're lower than a 4 seed, then that means you weren't supposed to make the Sweet 16. So last year you had a 6 seed in one region. You had a 5 and a 6 seed in another region, and you had a 10 seed in another region. Those were
And
the
see, a 10 seed would be one where I feel like that would still be considered somewhat of an upset because
Oh, it
it,
definitely is because that 10 seed beat a 2 seed. So
right.
yeah.
So it's, that's still considered an upset because they're playing a two, they're probably playing a whatever. The first round they're playing what, 10 goes against what,
Seven.
7. So that's not huge, but then they get to the next round, that's 10 against 2. Like that's an upset. That shouldn't it's not that it shouldn't happen. It doesn't happen very often because usually by that second round the round of 32, those higher seeded teams have figured out, what the lower seeded teams are able to do and usually are able to exploit those things that they can't do and then just run all over them.
Yeah. Well,
Evidently that did not
and
happen.
then like 2 years ago, you had a 5 seed in one bracket, a 6 seed in region. You had a 5 seed in one region, a 6 seed in one region, an 11 seed, which, like I said, made the Final Four that year in one region, and then a 5 seed in another. So only 4 out of the 16 were teams that were not supposed to be in the Sweet 16. And then, like I said, 3 years ago was chaos because in one bracket you had a 7 and a 9 seed, which means that the 1 and the 2 seed didn't get there.
Yes.
One bracket you had one region only the 1 seed got there because the other seeds were a 5, a 6, and a 15. Because you had a 15 seed beat a 2 seed in the first round that year. Um, one region had a 5 seed make it, and then another region had an 8 seed make it because they beat the 1 seed in the second round. So, and then 3 years ago was a lot of chaos, if you recall, because in the East region, you had an 8 seed and a 15 seed not only make the Sweet 16, but they made the Elite Eight. That was North Carolina and St. Peter's.
Yeah, that was a crazy tournament year. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Then the next region was 1, 2, 3, 4. The next region was 1, 2, 5, 11. But that 11 seed was Michigan. So it's like that's the other thing too. It's like you see a double-digit seed make the Sweet 16. You go, well, are they a Cinderella or are they just like a major conference team that had a meh year and kind of snuck into the tournament? And
Meh.
yeah. And then in the other region, it was 1, 4, 10, and 11. So the 2 and the 3 seed both lost in the second round. And then the final four was the 8 seed North Carolina, 2 2 seeds in Duke and Villanova, and a 1 seed in Kansas. And then it was Kansas and North Carolina in the national championship game, which Kansas won. So,
What the?
somebody's doing something.
What the? Oh, why are you sharing that? What the hell are you doing? So confused.
I think he's just screwing with us at this point.
Yeah.
I think he's well, kind of reminds me of something that Eli Manning said in his SNL hosting episode. We here recognize that some people can just be real dicks.
Shut your pie hole.
Oh, now I'm getting an invite to use a Zoom app.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus. This seems like the kind of thing that you should do when we're not in the middle of recording. I don't know, just a thought. Just a thought.
Why
This
would
is
I?
going off the rails.
Why?
Wait a minute. Did you just say our podcast is going off the rails?
Yes.
That's different from every other podcast. How?
Didn't you realize that we're on a train?
Toot
toot.
Don't make me start reciting that Inception speech.
We're on a
You
train.
don't know where you're going.
Oh, we're on a train, guys. Where's the train taking
we've gone
us?
off the rails on our podcast, which is very very irregular for us, of course, because we always have a very carefully planned agenda on this show, and
Always.
we follow to it so strictly so that it's just never possible for us to go off the rails. Never, not once.
Us follow something strictly? Yeah, okay.
And you never once paid for drugs, not once.
Nope, I get mine for free.
Well, there is no better way than free.
Yeah, that's correct. Always.
I'm going to lower drug prices by as much as 400, 500%. And I'm like, okay, so you're going to pay me 5 times what it costs me to get my prescriptions? Sweet.
Gotta make some type of moolah off of it.
Well, no, it's just, oh, damn it. Now you're doing it too.
Who?
You.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
He
Liar.
did that.
Liar. Yeah. No,
I
anyway,
swear I didn't do it.
No, it's just like that whole like about how much he's going to lower prescription drug prices. It's like everybody wants to say about what a great businessman he is, but he doesn't seem to understand how percentages work.
No, he really doesn't.
You know, just a thought. You know.
I mean, yes,
The
correct.
heck, I don't want that. Did you put that on mine? I didn't mean to do that.
At least it's the old school Eagles logo. Of course,
You just
it's
got to
the
change the Four Guys Roundtable show to your name.
Yep, I don't want
I
any of that. I didn't mean for
your
that to be up there.
name.
What the hell is this?
Repeat after me. I your name. Schmucks.
Oh, actually, I should move mine. Yes, fans, this is how crazy we can be at times. So all over the
Don't know how to get
place.
rid of it.
Okay, this is funny as I'm scrolling through things here. Here's a Meltzer short on YouTube, and the quote for the title of the video says, "This WrestleMania build hasn't been fully developed, and there's a lot more second guessing."
Huh, you think?
You know, I'm hard on Meltzer
Oh,
quite
there we
often,
go. Phew.
but you know what? There are some times
Well, Jeremy, you got to play with the settings. It's fun. Go ahead,
where
Pat.
he just says something with such clarity that was so inobvious to the rest of us that you really have to wonder how he has a fucking job and people pay him for this shit.
I
Yeah.
want, how much does he charge a month for his shit?
I think I saw somebody say $15 a month, which seems like about at least $10 a month overpriced.
That's $15 too much.
That too. Look, I'm not saying that he shouldn't be making money off of what he does, because everybody has a right to make money off of what they do, and he's been doing this a very long time and everything. But I also say that his opinions are about as worth as much as the toilet paper I use to wipe my ass, because he's built it into this way where it's just basically um I can say what I want. I don't say who my sources are, so they may not exist. I can just claim I have sources and then not actually have sources. And if I say something's going to happen and then that doesn't happen, I just fall back on the same two words all the time. Plans changed.
Hmm.
Especially when it comes to WWE. When it comes to AEW, I'm sure he knows exactly what's going to happen because I'm still convinced that he's on the payroll, but I'm also convinced that he talks to Tony regularly. I mean, shit, there was the one fucking video where he was on a meeting with somebody and you heard him getting a call from Tony Khan because his
Oh yeah,
phone
quote
because his phone
unquote.
yeah, because his phone fucking announced who was calling. And it's like talk about a boomer thing to have your phone announcing who's calling. You can't just look at your phone to see who it is.
Tony Khan is calling. Tony
Yeah,
Khan is
He
that's
he
calling.
what
must
basically
be
that's basically what it was saying was like,
he must be
Tony
so
Khan.
busy that going through his rummaging through his paperwork in his ridiculous office that he needs the phone to tell him who's called because he can't just look at it. He's
Yeah,
such a
yeah,
slacker.
his office is oh boy. Anyway, but he never says anything about AEW about like what's going to happen beforehand. You ever notice that? He never really says like, oh, this is going to happen in AEW. He'll never do that.
Nope, he does not. He
So I
very
just
rarely does, if any time, to be honest.
I mean I like listening to his clips that get posted on YouTube just because half of them make me laugh my balls off.
What?
Yeah, because he says something so
Sounds
stupid that
disturbing.
it's like, how are you producing this thought? Or he says stuff that's like anytime he's talking about Punk, he always has to qualify everything he says about Punk through the lens of basically saying, "Oh, yeah, he got to do a fight with my friends." Yeah, so he can never praise Punk. He always has to. Every time he says something remotely positive about Punk, there's always some subtle jab at him in there too. It is pathological.
Oh, of course, of course. He's ridiculous anymore with that shit. One thing I have to make fun of WWE for, I think it's hilarious that WWE and AEW recently signed free agents. And WWE goes out and signs Danhausen, while AEW goes out and signs David Finlay. And I wish that was reversed. Well, Danhausen wouldn't sign
Well, I
back
was gonna say
but
Danhausen.
Dan's not going back to AEW, but I would have preferred David Finlay in WWE. But then when I look at the grand scheme of what Pat was talking about earlier, I think before we started recording, is that their roster is kind of deep. So Dave Finlay would probably get lost in the shuffle if he was in WWE, to be honest. So going
Yeah,
to
but
AEW is probably a better option for him anyway.
yeah, well, I mean, think about like Trick William. I mean, Carmelo took a while to be finding his place until they put the U.S. title on him. You got Ilya Dragunov, who's struggling to find a place. I mean, Damian Priest really is now too. But then you also got guys like Rusev, um, and really Solo too.
Rusev who?
He's gonna fight Obafemi, right? Didn't they
Yeah.
arrange a match between them? But yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's only so much room on the roster for these people. That's why it's like I would say, you gotta try to cycle these guys in and out and everything. But and I guess I was slightly surprised that David Finlay signed with AEW just because I don't know if his father still works for WWE. Um,
I don't know. His
yeah,
wrestling
but
style fits. He's been wrestling in New Japan for a while now, so
yeah.
um, him,
Obviously, yeah, and
him
obviously there's such a tight connection between AEW and New Japan right now. So,
so I mean, David Finlay going with AEW kind of makes sense, to be honest with you, in regards to that. Plus, it's not, he's coming with a little three-man faction group, if you want to put it in those terms. So, um, I like David Finlay a lot. So, let's see how he's used in AEW moving
yeah.
forward. That will be the key.
But I mean, you mentioned, Danhausen, and like I said, the thing last week was so bad.
I think they should put him and R-Truth in a tag team, and they win the titles. That'd be
I mean,
spectacular.
I guess I could
Who,
theoretically
him
see
and
them doing that.
Danhausen?
Yes.
Oh my
Two,
God.
they're the two, they're legitimately comedy act 1A and 1B now. Like if you really look at it.
Yeah,
Danhausen can wrestle. I'm not saying he can't, but like he is who he is, like his gimmick and character. So you put him with R-Truth, oh God. R-Truth could be scared of the females and all that stuff. You can work magic with that.
but I like both the Danhausen segments on the TV this week. I liked his segment on Raw. I liked his segment on SmackDown
The
on
one
Friday
with Miz
night.
was funny.
You could definitely get some mileage out of him annoying Miz.
You saw what happened to Dom last week, huh? Huh?
That was the thing. Yeah, I love that when he was like, oh yes, he would. 'Cause remember what happened to Dom on Monday? But
You will be cursed.
Danhausen really got dicked around by AEW when
Yeah. I
when
mean, he
he
did get
because
injured, but then yeah, they kind of just
well, this on his Wikipedia page, this is what it says at the last few sentences under his All Elite ROH return to ROH section. It says Danhausen was off AEW and ROH TV for all of 2024,
wow.
but returned at ROH Final Battle at the Hammerstein Ballroom, which was December 20th of 2024. In August 2025, Danhausen requested his release from AEW, but the company extended his contract into early 2026 to cover the time he missed due to a torn pectoral muscle in 2023. And then his profile was removed on February 20th, 2026, and then
Yep.
of course he showed up at the Elimination Chamber the same day. Um, and there was a story saying that one of the big reasons that he's in uh, WWE now is because he's friends with Punk.
I mean,
And
yes,
Punk
he
and,
is.
and, and Punk like pushed for them to sign.
Speculation.
Right. So gee, I wonder why he was off AEW TV for all that time then.
I mean, if that, oh, yeah, because he's friends with Punk.
Right. So it's like
But
Tell me,
AEW would be like, well, that's not the case. It was because of this and that, this,
yeah,
that, and the
no
next thing.
bullshit. So it's like, yeah, Punk is or Tony Khan can play the vindictive card, but he just does it by like by appearing so nice and saying like, oh yeah, I want to see them back on AEW TV. I want to see Britt Baker back on AEW TV.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah?
speaking of yeah,
Why isn't she on AEW TV then?
she's
There's
been
literally
awesome.
one person who has the say in whether or not she's on TV.
That's him.
You.
Are you still editing your thing, Jeremy? Because you took it off.
No, I'm done. Done with this because I have to put it on non-mirror mode, and it's confusing to me because then when I raise this arm, it's actually on this side, and
That's what
it's
I have. Like mine's, I have it because otherwise my stuff in the background would be reversed.
yes, and that's okay with me that it's reversed. So I like the mirroring. So then it's like being in a mirror. Raise my left hand goes up. Raise my right hand goes up.
My left hand goes up and it's on the right hand side of my screen.
Yes,
Because otherwise you'd see my pictures reversed and it'd look weird.
that's okay. Those aren't that good of pictures anyway, so
Oh,
nobody really cares.
oh.
Did you
The
know that?
goat of running backs and the goat of the NBA is
You,
not good pictures. Okay, whatever.
did you know that Danhausen is married to a burlesque dancer?
Yep.
Cool. Good for him.
She's the one
Yeah,
who
very
organized
cool.
all the dancers.
Well, as Danhausen would say, very nice, very evil.
Yep, he is.
um, it's a very old clip, but I came across this clip thinking about sports, and I know we're talking more about wrestling right now, but considering you just said the goat of the NBA, um, Stephen A. Smith, there was I don't know what show it was, damn, but it was a younger gentleman
Rich
saying,
Paul,
yeah, I think so, talking
yeah,
about,
he's a piece of shit.
yeah,
I will legit say that. I'm gonna pull a AJ. I can't stand him. I can't. I made he did a podcast and there was a clip that I saw with Stephen A on there and like he was like trying to refute everything Stephen A said and I'm like I posted a comment. I felt like Pat. I had to post something on Facebook. Um, I couldn't resist. So I made a comment and the funny part is no one replied to my comment. No one said nothing negative about it. No one posted anything positive about it. I'll check right now to see if anyone posted anything. I just kind of laid in and I was like, this is a fucking joke. In regards to it, I just couldn't stand it anymore. Like to me, like Rich Paul is a guy who is trying to say that the previous generations are shit. He's being disrespectful to me. He's being disrespectful to the previous generations. This
Well,
whole
he can't help
crap
it.
where there's supposedly, I don't know, a clip of LeBron saying it's harder to play in the NBA now than it was in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, which is a fucking joke. Um, they're on this Isaiah Thomas juice, shit juice where they're talking about, the NBA changed the rules specifically for Jordan. No, no, they really didn't. It wasn't because of him. There was other reasons why they changed the rules. Wasn't for him to score more because he was scoring more before they changed the fucking rules. So it is what it is. Yeah, Rich Paul is just a LeBron. He's a LeBron guy. And he just wants to shit on all the older generations and make it seem like this generation is like the best. And that's how he's kind of been plugging a lot of his podcasts and the shit he's been posting and saying and all that stuff. And it's just very at the point where I'm just kind of um I just can't anymore with that guy. I just the stuff he says, it drives me absolutely insane. So I have zero. To me, Rich Paul has zero credibility when it comes to basketball. Because all he wants to do is plays Ron and some of the new guys, and that's it. He doesn't give a shit about anybody from the past, and he's trying to push that narrative to get more people to buy in that LeBron's the true GOAT and all that other
and,
crap. So
and what did you say his name is? I can't remember his
Rich
damn name.
Rich Paul,
Is he
I'm
related?
surprised no one commented on my comment.
Is he related?
No.
Oh, wish I knew I was getting such a bad connection on my TV right now. I also wish I knew where the main router in this house was. I'd go reset it, but then of course I'd lose the connection to you fine people.
You can't lose me.
This so okay. So I got CBS on, and they've got the Missouri Valley Championship game here between Northern Iowa and Illinois Chicago, and it was doing like the typical indicators that they always do on CBS about like what color uniforms the teams are wearing.
Oh,
Northern
yes.
Iowa is wearing purple. Illinois Chicago is wearing cream.
Cream.
Now, I mean, it's not white and it's not tan,
I have that song in my head now, but continue.
but I love how they said it's cream.
Cream
They're wearing cream colored uniforms.
is that is quite interesting.
I'm rooting for Illinois Chicago in this game.
Oh,
Do you know why?
no, but I will like you to inform us why you would be rooting for a team of such standards.
Because it has been since 2004 since Illinois Chicago was last in the NCAA tournament.
Ah,
Been a long time. Northern Iowa hasn't been in since 2016, so it's been a decade for them too.
where
But
do
the
I?
longest
Trying to
ever
find this clip.
NCAA tournament drought in history continues on because Dartmouth is still not going to even play in the Ivy League tournament because the Ivy League only does 2 rounds. So they weren't even in the top four. So Dartmouth still has not been in the tournament since 1959, a drought of 67 years and counting.
Jesus, that's crazy.
There are still, what is it now? 8 teams that have not made the NCAA that have made the NCAA tournament, but have not made it since before I was born. Dartmouth in 1959, Tennessee Tech in 1963,
Oh, Jesus.
Columbia and Bowling Green since 1968, Seattle U in 1969, though there's a slight asterisk on them, Rice since 1970, VMI since 1977, and AJ School Toledo has not made it since 1980.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, now the asterisk I mentioned for Seattle U, since I said they haven't been in since 1969, they weren't in Division One NCAA athletics from 1980 to 2008. They dropped down to NAIA for a while, and then when they rejoined NCAA, it took them about 6 or 7 years to rejoin Division One. So yes, they haven't been there since 1969, but they didn't compete at the level for what was that, about 29 years, 28 years.
Jeez, that's a long time. Holy
It
shit.
is. It is. Yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, like, I
could
think I've said
imagine
it
rooting
before. I
for a
said
team that hasn't been to the tournament that long.
yeah, so like when Dartmouth was last in the NCAA tournament, I mean, for one thing, the NCAA tournament was
Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I do know how that feels. I'm a Cubs fan. Never mind.
yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, when Dartmouth last made the tournament in 1959, let's see, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 20. There was only 23 teams that made the tournament. There weren't auto bids and all. Well, I think there were auto bids. Actually, I'm not 100% on that now that I say that. But anyway, so there's only 23 teams in the tournament. There weren't seeds the way there are now and everything. And my dad was 9 years old.
9 years old. Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Oh yeah, my dad was born 1949. Since the tournament, of course, is in the spring, he wasn't yet 10 years old because his birthday is in September. So
And the guy that you mentioned was not the guy that I was talking about in regards
Okay.
to who was debating him. It was a basket. It was a young. It was a retired basketball player, but he was young. He was probably in his 30s. He had a short career.
wow.
And there was on the other side. It was three of them. It was him. It was Stephen A. Smith, that guy in the middle, and some white guy on the other end. It
You
might have
know
been
what
the,
else?
who was part of First Take. It was Stephen A. Smith and who else?
Max Kellerman.
Yeah.
I just want to say about Stephen A. Smith real quick.
Oh
I
boy,
am
here we go.
all for him running for president.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Why?
I thought you were going to go another route.
I'm really
Okay.
feel I'm like now that you say that, I have to ask why because like not that I have anything against it, but I'm just interested as why.
Okay. Two
What is
reasons.
your why?
Two reasons. Number one, he won't be able to commentate about sports for a while.
I guess that's his number one reason. Okay, go ahead.
And two, he has absolutely zero fucking chance.
Uh-oh. Okay, so it's not any likes about him. It's
So I
all
just want him to go fucking embarrass himself more than he does with his sports takes.
Um,
One day somebody will be able to explain why Stephen A. Smith became the preeminent sports commentator to me. With Skip Bayless, I at least have an understanding with it because he was a legit fucking writer for a long time. Now he's a complete total fucking homer for the Cowboys, of course, and everything like that. But it's like I remember. I think I brought it up before the 30 for 30 special they did on the SMU football scandal from the 80s and everything. The where they got
hmm
the death penalty and everything. And I remember he was somebody that was talked to in that special a lot because he was writing about it as it was happening and everything. So it's like I will definitely listen to him talk about something like that. It's like I don't want to listen to him say anything about what's going on now because he's a fucking idiot. You know, but I've never been able to understand Stephen A. Smith, and I've long said that the only sport I would even entertain Stephen A. Smith's opinion on is basketball. I mean, anytime he talks about something outside of basketball, he reveals that he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, and I can cite examples. So.
Ooh, examples. I like examples.
Well, okay. I remember the now deceased quarterback Dwayne Haskins, the guy from Ohio State, when he was coming out a few years ago in the draft and everything. He was talking about how Dwayne Haskins was more of a runner and not a thrower. Dwayne Haskins was not a running quarterback at all. He was not a dual threat quarterback. And there was Stephen A saying, he's more of a runner than a thrower right now. And 2 years ago, when he was saying, the only reason Aaron Judge has had as great a season as he is having right now is because Juan Soto has been batting after him all season long. Juan Soto hit in front of Aaron Judge all season long that year when he was with the Yankees 2 years ago. He literally never batted once behind Judge that season, and I looked it up just to make sure to see if it ever happened even once, and it never happened once. So the motherfucker doesn't know what he's fucking talking about most of the goddamn time. So I would love to hear him start talking about politics more than he already does, because he's been dabbling in it for the last several months now, and pretty much every time I see somebody post something about Stephen A. Smith said this about blah blah blah, I'm like, oh, let me read this. Oh yeah, fucking idiot.
I mean, he's been commenting on politics for a little over a year, actually.
Yeah, that's
Some
what I mean.
some of it isn't.
It's basically ever since the election. I think I feel like.
Some of it isn't far-fetched. I will say that.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I've heard some of it. I kind of ignore it because of who he currently is as far as like a sports broadcaster and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not surprised that he would want to make a run at it just to see if he could.
I mean, I don't blame him for thinking that in a lot of ways either, because after all, Donald Trump got elected twice. And plenty of other people who, come from like the sports world. I mean, fucking Tommy Tuberville, you know, get elected to high office and everything. So,
Jesse
I,
Ventura,
yeah,
Hmm
yeah.
Herschel Walker.
Well, he didn't win. He just ran.
I thought he won one time, or did he know he lost?
Well, I don't know if he ever held another. I mean, he ran for Senate in Georgia there. What was it in 2022 and he lost, but
Okay. I thought he
um
ran. He was in something before that. I could be wrong.
maybe I that's actually a good question now that you mentioned that.
Trying to remember who else were there sports people.
I mean, Sonny Bono was elected to office,
Mm.
um back in the day when he was still alive and everything. um Herschel Walker is currently the United States ambassador to the Bahamas.
Hmm. Interesting.
That's hilarious.
I mean, hey, if you had to pick one place where you'd love to be an ambassador to,
It's a
Yeah,
nice place to be.
I
yeah.
can't think of many places better.
The Bahamas.
Let me see. Political career.
Do you get to live there for free? That is the question.
No, the only office that I think it looks like he's ever run for was the Georgia Senate seat in 2022, which he did not win,
Okay.
luckily. I mean, it was a close election. I mean, he lost to current Senator Raphael Warnock. It was like 51.5 to 48.5. So, and that was in the runoff too. Like they had like the first round, but because neither candidate got 50%, it went to a runoff. In the initial ballot, Warnock had 49.5%, Walker had
I
48.5%. Because
mean, you could put Schwarzenegger in that role too,
well, yeah, yeah.
actor.
Well,
True.
fucking Ronald Reagan.
Kevin Johnson became mayor of Sacramento after retiring from the NBA.
He's a Democrat, though, I think, because that's the thing. It's like they always you always hear people on the right complaining about celebrities voicing their opinions and everything, but the party that I typically runs more famous people as the actual candidates are the Republicans, not the Democrats. It is a fairly interesting dichotomy. But anyway, Walker only lost to Warnock in the initial vote in that 2022 Georgia Senate election by about 38,000 votes, but then in the runoff he lost by 100,000 votes. There was
Gotcha.
less turnout in the runoff though too, which
Oh, there's actually a Wikipedia page for this. Jay Feely, football candidate of the U.S. House of Representatives, 2026.
well, Mark Teixeira is going to get elected this year. He's running as a Donald Trump friendly candidate in Texas. He won the primary, so he'll probably almost undoubtedly be elected because it's Texas.
Steve Garvey.
Yeah, he ran for Senate in California, which
Yep.
that kind of fascinated me that Steve Garvey was running for that Senate seat just in 2024 because Steve Garvey's older than my dad. All right.
Red Grange actually ran for office for a member of United University of Illinois Board of Trustees. Okay, that kind of
Yeah.
doesn't.
And
So
just
Steve
so our
Gar
fans know, somebody's old if Pat is comparing them to he's older than my dad.
Okay. Well, Steve Garvey is 77 years old right now. So like when he was running for office, he was, 76 years old. So running to be United States Senator when you're in your mid 70s, especially when it's like you're running for the first time, is kind of amazing. But
Here's one. Michelle Kwan, California, U.S. ambassador to Belize from 2022 to 2025.
that was under the Biden administration. Interesting.
Steve Largent, U.S. representative.
Yeah. He gave the Republican response to one of Bill Clinton's State of the Union addresses. I remember listening to him cut it, and I was like, "Oh my God, this guy!"
This guy. This guy.
But no, regarding Steve Garvey, real quick, I remember in one of Bill James's historical baseball books that I have, which is in storage right now, so I can't look it up and everything. He
Ooh,
talked
Alan
about
Page.
how everyone was when Steve Garvey was an active player, everyone was sure he would eventually run for office, but he got involved in some scandals, if you will, with the fact that apparently he couldn't keep his dick in his pants. Like
Say
he had
less.
like he had like extramarital affairs, basically.
There was
Not
a
that he not that he
display that had to
not that he
catch.
was committing not that he was committing sexual assault. I will say that, but just that he was, bouncing from bed to bed. Um, and Bill James was wondering if like the fact that Bill Clinton had been president and had, all of his various issues, if you will, that it would like make it more possible for Garvey to one day run for office. And I kind of remember reading that saying, yeah, I guess I could see that. But then it took until 2 years ago for him to actually do it.
That's crazy. Here's one. Alan Page, independent, Associate Justice of the State Supreme Court,
Oh yeah,
1993 to 2015.
he was for a long time. He was also awarded the Medal of Freedom, I think, by Trump.
John Runyon, U.S. Representative, 2011 to 2015.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yep. I remember that.
Heath Schuler, served in office as a Democrat in North Carolina until they redistricted him out.
Yep. 2007, 2013.
You know, the most surprising one for me was Herschel Walker.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
the thing that I mean, Lynn Swan
Because
ran
that dude's
for
crazy.
Lynn Swan. I
Yes.
can't remember now if it was governor or senator. He ran for governor or senator here in Pennsylvania. Didn't win. But the thing with Herschel Walker you're talking about, the thing that was so crazy about that is that if you listen to Herschel Walker speak on that campaign for more than 30 seconds, you would feel like you were suffering from the brain damage that he almost undoubtedly is. Because everything he said was fucking crazy.
Here's one who's still in office, Dwayne Woodruff, the former cornerback from the Steelers, 79 to 90. He is the judge of Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas, 2005 to present. He's an independent.
Now, does it mention if that's an elected position or if that's an appointed position?
Let me see what the page says at the top.
I
It
want to share.
doesn't really say. This is just
Well,
uh
yeah, that's the only reason I bring it up is because there are some judgeships in the country where you have to actually run for the seat, and then there's ones where you just get appointed. So it's like, but the fact that you say that he's independent means that
this
he,
is in Pennsylvania too.
yeah, well, yeah. So the fact that you say he's
Allegheny
independent, he may have actually been appointed to that seat then. So
since 2005.
I
There's a
want
lot
to
of people
share.
on this list. Like I've never heard of half these guys before. Some of them I do. Like Jim Tressel's on here. Um, Ohio, Lieutenant Governor of Ohio, 2025 to present, and
yeah. Yeah,
Bonehead Tuberville.
well, yeah, like I said, Tommy Tuberville, the former Auburn coach, is currently a senator from Alabama, and he's going to be running for governor of Alabama now. He is also probably the dumbest man to ever serve in the United States Senate.
Yeah, he's another.
That's not nice.
He's all over the place.
Jeremy, seriously, if you've ever heard him talk in an interview, though, he is an idiot. He is a fucking idiot.
Yeah, so that was interesting.
Right.
Look at that.
Let,
Look at that.
let
That's
me share. I found what I was looking for.
Yeah, I was going to say, I
Oh, you
heard
want
you.
me to share?
I
Oh, I'm
was
sorry.
waiting
Oh,
for
I
him
didn't
to
share
finish his
earlier. I'm
thought.
sorry. I apologize.
Yeah,
I thought I
it's
did.
his fault this time. His fault.
His fault.
Yes, it's the old guy's fault. I know.
Share away.
Let's see here.
I know I'm going to lose my mind what I'm about to listen to anyway.
Oh, he's sharing. Oh, you were literally sharing. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that's what you were trying to do.
Yeah. He's sharing us some dirty pics.
Ooh.
We're going to have to go on. We're going to have to create a OF account if we're going to do that.
How do you guard Jordan? No. Answer this. Because when you guard
This
LeBron
guy was the
James,
guy I'm talking
it takes
about.
about 5 defenders.
Oh, this
five
guy.
defenders. And why Idris Scholar, Jordan, Draymond, Durant.
Okay.
Who
It
guarded
takes
Jordan?
5
All right.
guys.
Howard Isley?
Hold on.
Jeff Hornacek?
Hold it. All right.
Dan Marley?
All right, rookie. Enough.
He calls him rookie. All right, rookie.
All right. And Max, you've learned well. Congratulations. Here's the deal. We'll close out this segment by saying this. Michael Jordan, first championship, beats Magic. Second championship.
I'm just gonna stop it right there. I don't know who that guy was because it doesn't say. I know he's an old a young NBA player that didn't have a very long career. That
I'm
much I know.
trying to remember his name. Yeah, he is on the LeBron hype train like it's no tomorrow. I can't remember his fucking name right now.
I don't that just again, I'm not a staunch follower of the NBA anymore. But what was his argument? Everybody on the floor guards LeBron,
Yeah,
but
it took
that
5
didn't-
guys to guard LeBron.
but that didn't
Um,
happen with Jordan.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Isn't that
So-
isn't it another way of saying that LeBron's teammates all suck and aren't worth guarding?
So the funny thing is if you watch the NBA even back when LeBron was in the prime of his career, his like 5th, 6th year, somewhere in there, like there was not 5 guys guarding him.
Even in
The
year
NBA
10, there
and
was no
his-
fucking guys guarding him.
The time at any point in time in LeBron's career, the floor has always been way more open. There's always been driving lanes. There's never been a clog lane. And these guys want, they play zone. Their zone is not a zone that clogs the middle because they can't stand in the center of they can't stand in the paint for 3 seconds on defense.
No.
That's a penalty. A
Defense of
penalty.
3 seconds.
Yeah, it's a defensive 3 seconds penalty. Like you can't do it. So the lane has always been available to them. Like
Yeah.
we're trying to think when the defensive 3 seconds went into play. It's been a long time. Like it went into play. It became an official rule a long time ago. But still, it's just one of those things. Like there's never been 5 guys guarding any one player because that leaves 4 other guys on the floor open. Now, is it possible, like when guys go to the middle, is there 2 to 3 guys that collapse on them? Sure, happened in Jordan's era. It definitely happened with LeBron, but never 5 guys. It takes 5 guys to guard LeBron. That's just ridiculous. That's the most ridiculous.
2001.
Okay, so 2001. So Jordan was done playing in the NBA.
Well, besides his two years with Washington, but still.
Right. I count those, but I don't because that was him just coming back to trying to help that Washington Wizards team get some wins. So a 99.9% of his career was played where guys could just stand in the paint as long as they wanted to. And a lot of big guys did because that's the way offense was run back in the day. They put a big man in the post, and that's all that guy did was play the post position.
Yeah, so here's, and it's funny, like the zone.
So I'm not trying to start the GOAT debate again, but it was just funny because you mentioned, about your GOAT picture, and I remember seeing that. I'm like, man, this guy's take was crazy.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like zone defense was like banned in the 40s for a long time, and then they brought it back and they allowed it because I forget what the reason was.
They even took away at one point in time double teaming on a non-ball on a offensive player that didn't have the ball. Like you could not assist away from the ball. Like you had to, if you were going to double team, it was only on the ball. Now they didn't call it very often. They didn't call that illegal defense very often, but it was definitely a call that could happen. I think they got rid of that rule.
Yeah, let's see. So let's look at the 90s. Let me go back to this. One of the biggest things is like, I forget, one of the rules was like banned like 3 fucking times, but referees were still allowing players to get away with it for a while. I think it was the hand checking crap. 94, the league restricted promoting hand checking to promote. In here, 94, the league restricted hand checking to promote offensive play and allow players more freedom of movement. This was particularly beneficial for guards and smaller players, enhancing their ability to drive to the basket. They brought the 3-point line in 1979. They widened the key in 1951 because of George Mikan from 6 feet to 12 feet. There was another thing where they changed something because I think of Chamberlain or some jazz. And some of these rules, they also changed, like, I don't remember the specific rule. I got to find it. Flagrant fouls were introduced in the 90s too because they wanted to cut down on all the physical play from the 80s. Yeah. So, Bill Laimbeer would have been ejected multiple times for all the shit he had as well.
Yeah.
Flagrant fouls, 93 flagrant fouls. When did that come into about? I mean, they made changes in the 90s, but it wasn't, people are just going to assume it was for Jordan. But it really technically wasn't.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Yes.
No. Did I ever tell you about my story about that I heard Digger Phelps say about Bill Laimbeer once, just because you mentioned Bill Laimbeer?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll save it for another time.
Okay. So yeah, it's interesting. Like somebody put a clip up of LeBron making not even a tough layup. Like he made a layup. Nobody touched him. He went down awkwardly and fell on his elbow. But the elbow that he claimed was hurting was not the elbow that it looked like he fell on.
No, I know. It's such a joke.
And he laid there. I mean, he laid there like dead fish, holding his elbow while the rest of the team went down. He scored the bucket. They pass it back in. The other team goes down. They score. And then they stop play when they comes back on the offensive side for the Lakers. And he's still on the ground. His teammates went to help him up. They helped him with the other arm. And he pulls back wincing in pain. He's like, oh, I can't get up. And then eventually he got up. And everybody's clapping for him. And the announcers are like, oh, he's such a tough player. I'm like, what? Like, tough player? He just laid on the ground for like 3 minutes. I was like, you guys realize he's taking a break. Like, he's not actually injured. Like, he's taking a breather so he doesn't have to call a timeout.
Did you know that they increased referees from 2 to 3 in 1988, 89?
Like
Kinda
there was
forgot
once
about
only 2 referees.
Yeah.
Wow.
Before that was only 2, which is
Wow.
weird because I go back and watch like
It
those
seems
old
like
games,
impossible to try to follow it, have 2 referees on the floor.
and it's weird because when I watch old like vintage games, it doesn't click in my head that I'm only seeing 2 referees because I'm so used to 3. But that rule didn't take effect until the 88, 89 season.
Damn. So that's
Yeah.
why I don't really remember it because I definitely didn't watch the NBA before that. So
In 1991, the penalties of a flagrant foul are now divided into 2 categories.
Flagrant 1 and flagrant 2. It's been upgraded from a flagrant 2 to a flagrant 1.
And
This player's been ejected from the game.
and listen, they did that because of the hard fouls. And you know what? Isaiah Thomas can say what he wants about they changed the rules for Jordan. Well, Jordan wasn't the only one that was being clobbered all the time. There was other superstars being like hammered when they were driving to the
No,
hole.
Detroit Pistons during the time of the 80s, especially with Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer, Joe Dumars.
They were a tough team. Listen,
why can't I think of the other guy? Was it not?
Boston was like that too for a little while. They
Mahorn,
had
Rick
some guys
Mahorn.
that would knock you on
Was that
your
the other
ass.
guy?
yeah,
Was it
Rick
Rick-
Mahorn was the guy who would definitely
Like,
elbow you in the gut.
like
There was
those
other
guys
teams
just-
that played very physical as well. It
Yeah.
wasn't Detroit. No, Boston
But
had
there
their
was-
moments. New York had their moments.
Oh yeah, the
there
Knicks,
was there was
the
a
Knicks were
reason
those
There was
that
a
they
bunch
got
of
the
teams.
nickname.
Houston
Yeah,
was a
Bad Boys
team in
of
the
Detroit.
80s that played very physical too.
I was gonna say the Knicks of that era. You try driving the lane when Charles Oakley and Patrick Ewing are there. You get your ass knocked on the floor.
Yep.
Yeah, but there was a reason why Detroit had the nickname Bad Boys. Like they were dirty ass players.
And they didn't try to hide it, and they reveled in it, and
Yeah.
they didn't care what you thought about it. And of course, that came back to bite one of those guys in the ass.
You know, and it's just funny. Like Isaiah Thomas, I had a lot of respect for him. You know, at one point in time, I've lost some respect. Not that that matters to anybody or him.
I've lost a lot of respect for him and just
But
his attitude
just-
is because Jordan doesn't like him.
Yeah, it's like
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt. It's like he was denied supposedly entry onto the Dream Team because most of the guys who were already there didn't want him on the team because they didn't like the way that the Pistons were. So yeah.
yeah, like you had a reputation, whether it was warranted or not. You had a reputation, and you're just mad because one of the guys that probably the greatest player of all time doesn't like you, and he gets a lot of attention even now, and you get essentially zero attention because you, except for your 2 championships, you were the Detroit Pistons were pretty irrelevant. Like they were not, like they didn't sustain viability. Like as soon as they lost the Eastern Conference Finals, and they fell to the wayside.
And the other thing too is like, here's the other part where pisses me off with some of these people now. They make it seem like there's a couple things. They make it seem like Detroit was like this fucking old team when the Bulls beat them. Motherfucker, Isaiah was like 28, 29. Joe Dumars around the same age. Like all these guys were in their mid to late 20s. No one was
What year are we talking there?
anything in the late 80s when the Bulls ran through that stuff. They pulled us up
Well,
on.
I think it was
Okay.
90 was the first year that they beat him, 89 or 90. was the year
Yeah,
that they beat
so
them.
the Bulls swept the Pistons in the 91 conference finals. That was the
Okay.
Correct.
year the Bulls' first championship. Let me find the Pistons.
Because Isaiah Thomas started in the NBA in what, 81 or 82, I want to say.
I have to look that up.
Might have been 83.
You see, another thing too is here, like when you look at all the rule changes in the 90s, they're like they shorten the 3-point line for a couple seasons, but a lot of this is like trying to cut down on physicality of playing, you know, and then the hand checking. There's a rule where you can't hand check from one point on the floor to another point. So yeah, the game, you got to also remember, like the game went started going global in the 90s. So they're trying to appease to the global aspect of the NBA and get more fans to watch. And that's when Europeans were starting to you were seeing more Europeans, be drafted and start coming to the NBA.
So I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so looking at that Pistons roster from their 90-91 team, I don't think it was necessarily so much the age as it was the experience. So like Dumars, so the ages that are listed if you go on Basketball Reference, Dumars was 27, Thomas and Rodman were 29, Lambeer was 33, Vinnie Johnson was 34. They were basically the starters. The next guys on the list, James Edwards was 35, Mark Aguirre was 31, John Sally was 26, Gerald Henderson was 35, John Long was 34. Those are the guys who played 10 or more minutes per game. But like you look at the experience. So Aguirre's in his ninth season, Dumars is in his fifth, Edwards is in his 13th, Henderson and Johnson are in his 11th, Lambier's in his 10th, Long's in his 12th, Rodman's in his fourth, Sally's in his fourth, Thomas is in his ninth. So it was a veteran team, not necessarily an old team.
Yeah, but there's people trying to say like plug the narrative that they were an old fucking team, that Jordan was able to beat them when they were an old team. And the other aspect what aggravates me is Isaiah Thomas is like, oh, we beat them. We were beating them up when Pippen and Grant got there. And I'm thinking to myself, so what's back up to that? He wants to talk about the one specific season where they beat them. Um, how many rookies in the NBA in the 80s were prevalent people, especially someone who was drafted later in the first or second round? Like, I don't remember what round Horace Grant was, but Pippen and Horace Grant were rookies that one year. And he wants to make a big deal that you beat a team with Michael Jordan and a bunch of rookies. Two rookies who became somebody. They weren't even anybody at that time. It's kind of like, oh, so you beat Jordan and two rookies. He makes it sound like they pushed the narrative that like Pippen and Grant were in the NBA already for several years and they were already rising to be the players they were. No, they weren't.
Yeah. So I mean,
They had just gotten there.
Compared to that Pistons team, that year's Bulls team was a young team. The Pistons had 6 players who had 10 or more years of experience. The Bulls had 1, Bill Cartwright.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the Bulls were young relative to that, and like in that year, the 90-91 season, Horace Grant and Scottie Pippen were in their third years. Jordan was in his sixth.
Yeah. And here's the thing. So, and it's funny because people try to use that the old thing too, going back to the old thing. Isaiah Thomas was only in the league 3 years before Jordan. Isaiah was an 81 rookie. Jordan was an 84 rookie.
Yep.
Like their age difference is not that great. It's 3 years, which means Jordan was a freshman when Isaiah Thomas was a senior in college. Like that's not that big of a difference. Like that does not make them old by any means. It's just fun. It's just funny.
Yeah, and it's a
Now,
lot
if
of
you wanna say
narratives.
if you want to say that when they beat the Celtics, if you want to say when Isaiah Thomas and them beat the Celtics, that the Celtics were old, I would have a tendency to agree with that because you're talking about the Celtics, and I'm pretty sure Larry Bird's rookie year was like 76 or something like that.
Yeah, him and Magic were drafted the same year. It's just a narrative because Isaiah's like, well, we beat Jordan, Pippen, and Grant. We beat
I mean,
Jordan. Yeah, you beat Jordan with two young players. Like,
Isaiah Thomas, I think, is also great at griping.
yes, he is.
He feels like
No,
he's been
79.
slighted. He feels like he's been slighted in some way, probably mostly because he wasn't on the dream team and everything. But it's like, hey, Isaiah, if you had been successful in anything in your post-playing career, then maybe you also wouldn't feel the need to like constantly like, justify yourself in some way. But it's like you failed
Justify
so
my love.
hard and so many things after you were a player, and that's all your own fault. So it's like I don't really frankly want to hear it.
Okay. Sorry, I was a little off on the Magic and Bird thing. They were 78 was their rookie years. Bird did not play the 78-79 season.
So let's see here.
So I get so even that narrative doesn't necessarily work with them when they beat Bird and them. They weren't really old either.
No, no. And people are always like, Jordan couldn't beat Magic. I mean, Jordan couldn't beat Bird. And I'm thinking to myself, Jordan came in '84. Do you see who that Boston Celtics team had? Like, they were established. They were,
They were a bunch of plumbers and
yeah,
mechanics.
yeah, yeah. See, and to me,
I hate that too.
that drives me crazy because that's so disrespectful to all those players. Like, you're
If you want to say
trashing,
that,
you're trashing on Larry Bird, you're trashing on Magic Johnson, you're trashing on Akeem Olajuwon. Like, you're trashing on all those fucking Hall of Famers. That's
Oh yeah, well those
now
guys
if you
all
want to
clearly
say
sucked.
if you want to say the guys in like the 40s and 50s of basketball were plumbers and mechanics and that I might say yeah, because the NBA wasn't their primary job. The NBA wasn't a career. It was a side thing for guys in those eras because they didn't pay them that well. It wasn't like the NBA of the 80s and 90s and 2000s and all this where they made multi-million dollars. And that didn't technically happen until the 90s where these guys were making millions of dollars on contracts. It was not a profession. It was, okay, going to play for the Boston Celtics in the 50s and I'm going to make $20, It's like, yeah, they had to have other jobs to pay for their bills. It was just the way it was.
Here's something too. You want to look at Isaiah Thomas's teams? You say he was drafted in '81, right?
Yeah.
All right, he's drafted in '81. They were 7th place. Next year, 8th place. No playoffs either year. '83, '84, 4th place. Lost to the Knicks. Isaiah Thomas was the All-Star Game MVP. '84, '85, 4th place. Beat the Nets. Lost to the Celtics. '85, '86. 5th place. Hold on. What's that stat there? What's that category? Oh, finish. Conference. Oh, conference division. Oh, fuck the division. Conference. Oh, worry about the conference. Where was I at? You got there. Yeah. 80. Yeah, lost to the Celtics. 85, 86. 5th in the conference, 3rd in the division, don't care. Lost to the Celtics again. Oh, look, Isaiah Thomas, All-Star Game MVP, who cares? 86, 87, 3rd. Beat the Bullets, beat the Hawks, lost to the Celtics again. Oh, look who also couldn't beat the Celtics. You want to talk shit. 87, 88, beat the Bullets, beat the Bulls, finally beat the Celtics, lost to the Lakers. Then they were 1st place. Beat the Celtics in the 1st round, swept them, beat the Bucks, beat the Bulls, and then finally beat the Lakers. That was probably their best season because they only lost 2 games that whole playoff, and those were to the Bulls. They swept the Celtics, the Bucks, and the Lakers. Joe Dumars MVP. Then 88, 89, swept the Pacers, beat the Knicks 4-1, beat the Bulls 4-3, and then beat the Blazers 4-1. Isaiah Thomas, Finals MVP, Dennis Rodman, Defensive Player of the Year, and then the next season they're in 3rd place, and then the Bulls swept them. And then after that, they didn't make the playoffs again in any of, I think, Isaiah Thomas's rest of his career.
You just mentioned look who else couldn't beat the Celtics. I would just like to point out that I have beaten the Celtics many times. Yeah, and when I fire up a game of Civilization 2 and the Celts are one of the opponents, yeah, I always beat them.
The Celtics. Oh
Sorry,
yeah,
wanted to make a
crazy.
Civilization 2 reference for some reason, probably
I,
because my brain is stupid.
Oh boy. It's all good.
oh man. All
Oh
right,
man. Oh,
enough.
Lehigh's got a lead approaching the end of the first half in the Patriot League semifinal against Colgate.
Colgate, the toothpaste.
Yep. Should they win, they will play either Boston University or Navy in the final, which is on, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday. Navy
You
was
know,
far and
which
away the
would
best
you
team
know
in
what
the
would be
Patriot League
awesome
this year.
is if the Patriot League not only had Colgate, but they had also had Crest College. It'd be awesome. Then you have the battle of the toothpaste colleges. Crest versus Colgate.
And
Who's the
then we're
better?
going to get the expansion team Oral B.
You
I
couldn't do
never liked,
Aqua.
yeah, Aquafina.
Couldn't do or Aqua Fresh.
Not
That that
not the comedian Aquafina. Yeah. I never. I remember years ago. I've always used Crest toothpaste. I remember years ago when my grandparents were still alive, and I was like staying over their house, and I like didn't have my toothpaste, so I had to use my grandmother's toothpaste, which was Colgate. I remember using it, going, "Ugh, I don't like the feeling of this at all." So I was like, I never used Colgate because of that.
and my wife used to be an Aqua Fresh person, like the triple colored toothpaste.
I always
And
remember
then
seeing the
I
ads for
remember
that.
those.
I
Yeah.
always remember seeing the ads for Aquafresh and seeing that triple color thing and going, "Oh, I should try that." But then I wasn't in charge of buying the stuff then, and
yeah,
so
but yeah, it's just there are certain toothpaste that I definitely don't like because they like sting your mouth. I'm not a big fan of stinging your
Oh,
mouth toothpastes.
yeah.
well, whenever I
It's
heard the
usually the
term
ones with the
baking soda,
baking soda and hydrogen peroxide in the toothpaste. I'm like, ugh,
I was gonna
that
say,
sounds
anytime
like
I ever
death.
heard the term baking soda toothpaste, I always knew that went stay away from it because it was going to burn your mouth.
So, oh yes. All right, it is. Whew, it's almost 1 o'clock. Goodness
I
gracious.
know. It's crazy with the time change.
So
Yes,
much
I know.
interesting stuff happened at wrestling this week that we can sum it up in 3 seconds. Cody's the champion again.
Yay! Whether you're happy about it, not happy about it, nobody cares.
Don't
Deal with
worry,
it.
we only have
2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
What, WrestleMania?
Yeah,
6 more weeks till WrestleMania.
6 more. Wow, it's really late this year.
Yeah, it's like the 18th, 19th.
Yeah, it's in like the middle of the month now, same as they did it last year. Not the same as they did it 2 years ago. See, that's the funny thing. They pushed it back further into April because of the weather 2 years
Now they're
ago,
doing it in
which
nicer places.
and it's like and they've done it in Vegas the last 2 years in an enclosed stadium so there would be no weather concerns. And then next year it's going to be, not held, of course, tragically. So they don't have to worry about the weather then either. So it's like moving the date of WrestleMania. I mean,
Was irrelevant
it
for the
really
next.
hasn't made it. It really hasn't made any actual sense so far, unless you're buying the whole. Well, we wanted to let creative have more time to, and it's like no, because no, it really hasn't worked out that way.
No, because creative's not very creative.
No, it's just not. See, that's the thing. It's like
All right.
I think I don't know if we mentioned it when we were on or if I mentioned it before we were recording. This talk about them wanting to have 14 to 16 matches between the 2 nights of WrestleMania. And I'm like, in theory, that sounds great because it means you probably have more people on the card. It also probably means you would have more singles matches. And so like, less like, multi-person matches, which inevitably always come to chaos. But then at the other time I said, well, shit, with the way their creative has been lately, do we really expect that they're going to be able to build really good, compelling reasons for that many matches? And I don't think so. But
Yes.
they can prove us wrong.
Yeah, let them prove us wrong.
Yeah,
All
let them
right.
prove us wrong. In fact, please do prove us wrong. Bitches. Yeah,
So I feel like this is a good time to stop our podcast, bring a conclusion with the jackass comment.
probably.
So, are we in agreement? Yes, no, maybe so. All right.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say.
All right. Well, then we'll sign off and we'll say adieu to you and you and you. We appreciate all of you watching, tuning in, liking, commenting, sharing this with anybody who is willing to listen to it. A bunch of older guys talk about some BS stuff and be all over the map, not have a single congruent thought completion.
Do we ever?
And since we talked,
No.
and since we talked about Gen Z slang today, come on, Gen Zers, watch the show and tell us that we're a bunch of boomers.
Yes. With that said, we thank you for watching, and we hope you finished with us.